Welcome back, my friends. In this video I'm going to be showing how to remove and replace the convertible top for the 1983 to 1994 Porsche 911 Cabrio. The Cabrio was introduced as a concept in the 1981 Frankfurt Auto Show, and it was Porsche's first Cabrio since the days of the 356. It's a two-piece design, and I'm going to be doing the complete process from removal to installation and final adjustments. If you have been following along in this video series, you would have seen how we did the body and paint work on this Porsche, and now it's time to install the new convertible top. But first, I need to take you back prior to when we painted it and show how the convertible top was removed. So join me and grab a cup of coffee or tea, and let's see how this old dirty top was removed. So just gonna look over the top here as it stands prior to painting the car. We can see it is in kind of rough shape. It's not torn or anything, but it is it's seen better days. And one thing to notice that the rear window is different from what the factory design was. And of course we see a lot of mud wasps have made their home in this car, and yeah, found those everywhere. Now, I did do this top replacement in two stages. The first stage was the removal, and then there was a several week gap between then and installing the top because the car was painted, and it was necessary to remove the top to paint the car. So in the back here, we've got this trim piece. We pop off these little grommets, these little covers, and then inside there's a T30. So we use a T30 star bit to get those out, and then a little magnet helps to get them out of there. So we're going to take all of those off. There's 1, 2, 3 of them, and then we got little screws on the side. Okay, now you got these 10mm nuts in here. It doesn't really have enough room to get a socket in there, so you kind of have to use a wrench in here. Okay, so now we're coming and getting the other side. Same thing. So at this point we're kind of loose here, but we are still we've got to get this tensioner unloosened. Okay, so once we've got those the tensioners loosen a bit on each side, then it just sort of pops up and you can pull it out. So these are just glued in and look like they need to be replaced. Okay, so on the back side of these right here, there are some 8mm nuts holding them on. You can feel for them, and basically this one was just hand tight. So we're gonna remove that, and it seems to be missing a few of them there. So they just come off, and that's what they look like. Okay, and again, this side was also held on with only 2 of them. And there we go. Got that out of there. Okay, so now we have the material under here is really just held on by some adhesive glue. I'll just pull it off. There we go. Now, one thing to note here, and it wasn't as apparent on the other side as it is on this side, but you actually have 2 pieces of material adhered to this pillar here. Okay, at this point now, this thing is pretty much coming off, but it's still held on right here a little bit. And you come over here and you see you got a little tuck from this piece sort of tucked under there. So we're gonna get that out of there. So that's a little tuck piece. Same on this side. There's a little bit of tucking going on there. Whoop. There we go. So now that lifts up, that lifts up. So there's the little tension piece removed. Now, one thing to note about these pieces is they do have these little teeth here. And what's going on there is that this thing is basically hooked on there with those teeth. So there's a little flap there. It goes like that, and it goes in like that. I guess that's what keeps this piece down. So we're gonna go ahead and remove that. So next we're gonna push the top back a little bit, and we're going to remove this little screw right here. So we got that out. Screw there, a screw there. And actually this one we had to take out also. Okay, so now we're going to start on the top portion here. We've removed all these little screws here and these centering holes, centering deals. And now we're going to go and we're going to start removing what we have here. Let's see what we have to get these off. So these rubber seals, they have a little hole in them where there's a Phillips in there. but it basically just came off extremely easily. So I think the intent was to unscrew it through there, but the glue was not holding very well at all, so they just come off. So now we're just going to remove these, and we'll have to eventually re-glue that on there. Now look at these little caps here. That side is missing his, but there's supposed to be a little cap here, so we have to take that off. So this piece here is now pretty loose. So we were able to get this out. We did not have to remove these. Just able to get it out without doing that. Okay, now we're going to start unbonding the top from here. Okay, now we come across one of our first little cables here, so we're gonna have to remove that. So it's not enough to just remove this little screw here, because this cable actually goes all the way up through here, and it's hooked up to this spring. So to get it detached, you have to remove these little nuts here. It's really hard to get in there. So what I did I just removed this one, and then I pushed this cable out so it's kind of like this, and then I'll be able to take that little nut off right there. Makes it a little easier than trying to have to get little wrenches in there and then probably lose the part. So notice I put it back in, detached the cable, and then I just put the spring thing back in. And okay, now we're pulling the final bit off here. Okay. And now let's see, we got this thing is glued on right around here. Gonna pull that off too, and then it is glued on here to the roll bar as well. Man, look at all this. And then we've got another little, that other end of that cable goes right here, so we'll have to remove that. That is a really tough screw. Oh, we have to put a vice grip on that. Right, so we've got this screw off. Now, this is glued on here, so I'm gonna go ahead and split this apart here. And then we're going to be able to look and see how this was glued on here. Just glued on there like that. And then that's off. Same thing over here. One on top of the other. You can still see how it went there. So now it looks like we're just down to this bit here. Okay, so the padding for the roll bar is held on by these screws, and there'll be another few screws under there. So that piece just comes out like that. And so now we do have also some 7mm little screws in there. We've got to remove those as well.
Okay, we got all screws off. Now this is also held on with a little adhesive. Okay, so the last bit of it is sort of sandwiched between a plate here and this piece. So we're gonna have to dislodge that. This one has a 7mm, and oddly enough, this one has a Phillips. So that's interesting, but we'll keep going. Okay, so now we can just pull this crap off, and that should do it. Let's see. Yep, that's our top off. And there it is. Here, let's see, what does this say here? Robbins Auto Top Company Incorporated, USA. So yeah, we see that this is not an original top, and I suppose that explains, hopefully that explains why we're missing so many nuts and screws and so on, and why everything was sort of loose. And in addition, we seem to have several screw holes here, so that's good to know. We solved some of the mystery there.
And check out the next episode for the top installation. And please remember to give us a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Tschüss.